Hello there, it's Jamie J, and I'm going to be talking with Danny May. I'm a poet, don't even know it. We're going to start this thing. We're going to kick it off here in about 38 seconds. So get ready to join us because we're going to talk about the entrepreneurial journey of Lingmo with Danny May. Hello, it's Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Virtual Assistants, and I'm stoked to be introducing you today to someone that has had an incredible entrepreneurial journey. His name is Danny May. The entrepreneurial journey of Lingmo is what we're going to be talking about, and Danny is the CEO and co-founder of Lingmo International. And so you may wonder, because we always want to stop the bottleneck in your business, and why in the heck can Danny May help you stop the bottleneck in yours? Well, let me tell you a little bit about him. Danny's a global AI, artificial intelligence, tech entrepreneur and industry speaker who founded Lingmo. It's a digital AI-powered translation software provider with no IT or AI background. His idea to develop a real-time language translation solution to break down the global language barrier came about after an embarrassing situation in China when his passport was stolen and he had no way of communicating with the local people. With no formal training in the technology space, Danny had a deep understanding of AI and speech recognition technology in the translation sector and the benefits it brings not only to products, but also to the people using the tech. This has led him to develop relationships with many corporate multinationals and take the lead in mentoring them on how they can improve their business communication, as well as guide them into incorporating AI into their internal systems. Pretty impressive. With an impressive portfolio, presenting keynotes, sitting on panels, and giving talks around the world, Danny's easygoing and approachable manner gives him the natural ability to share his expertise, and his intuitive mindset seeks to make the impossible possible and inspires many young people to follow their dreams. His engaging presentations make it easy for people to relate to him as he demonstrates how to push the boundaries in the startup world. I think it's fantastic that we have someone like Danny on. And for those of you that have questions, please ask away if you're watching this live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitter, and of course on Periscope. If you're live and you have a question for Danny, ask away. If you're watching this during the replay, go ahead and ask a question, and I will make sure to get the question off to Danny. Without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Mr. Danny May. How are you, sir?
Good, mate. Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, this is going to be awesome. And you are definitely right, because we jumped on this in the green room and I said, what do you want? And you're like, dude, let's just have a conversation about this awesome journey I was on. So before we jump into that, maybe you can give us a little background on who Danny May is and a little bit of story and kind of what you're up to.
I guess who I am. I'm father of three, got a wife and family. Started as you read in the intro, started the journey through from being a plumber, and then after an embarrassing situation, we founded Lingmo to help people. That's kind of where we are. A lot's gone into it, where there's been I had to self-train myself in a new industry because I was a plumbing to this, and I guess, as you said before, it's more about just me sharing my journey on how we've done it for Lingmo, which may inspire people to do something different, but also see that how artificial intelligence can assist businesses as well as individuals when they travel.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Can you tell me, before we jump into the story, how did you come up with the name Lingmo?
I guess this is the easygoing side of it as well. So Lingmo, so the Ling comes from multilingual. And when I was doing names, when I did the name, I just threw Mo on the end of it just because it sounded good. So, Ling has some meaning towards it in Lingmo, but the Mo is just makes it flow, I guess.
I thought maybe you were traveling through Missouri or something when you came across that and you decided to throw that in because that's where you had the idea. Being from Missouri, I got to throw that in there.
Yeah, there is. So half of the name is meaning, the other half's just made it sound good.
Yeah. So what was the embarrassing moment?
So what it was I was contracted by a plumbing company in Sydney where I live, and to go to China and find solar products, so solar hot water products for the household. First time I'd ever been to China. 4 hours after landing, my passport was stolen, and I went to up to a police officer who was only about 50 meters up the road, and started talking to him. Didn't understand a lick of English, so I downloaded an app at the time and just tried to make conversation because all I wanted was get to the Australian consulate. And I said, "Hello, how are you?" into the app, and it actually come out and translated, "Hello, I love you," to the police officer. And needless to say, he wasn't impressed. The colleague I was with was actually running down the street because the police officer had his hand on his gun. It took a little bit of persuasion to say I wasn't sort of, cracking a joke or, wasn't trying to take the piss out of him. It was more just trying to get the communication. So after about 15 minutes, he seen the funny side and he assisted me. And, anyone who's been to Shanghai knows how big it is. The consulate could have been on the other side, which is 5 hours in the opposite direction, but it was literally 100 meters up the road. I could see the building. So, it worked out. It worked out in the end, but that's where the idea come from. And, just really thinking, from Shanghai back to Sydney, it's a long flight. And I was thinking the whole time, how many other people would put in the exact same position around the world.
Isn't that crazy how entrepreneurs are so creative based on a pain point that they've experienced, and it affected them in such a positive way that they were able to create something to help so many other people out?
Yeah. I think that's where, you hear, you watch a lot of motivational speakers and all that, and you hear it where they say you got to be passionate about your product or your business that you're in, because when it hits hard times, you'll persevere through them because of the passionate nature you have for that. And that's 100% true. I've started a couple of tech businesses early on, like in the early days where, one of them was a photo sharing app. And the reason I started that was purely for the money, because Instagram just sold to Facebook for $1 billion. So I did it for the money. Then when the times got tough, you go, well, I'm not making money, so off we go. So you've got to be passionate about it. And that's where you guess, real life experience or something that happens to you is a good motivation, because you always think back to that moment and go, well, I am going to, at the end, we are helping people.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's interesting that you got passionate about AI with a background in plumbing.
It's, it took a little bit, so once the issue in China happened, I come back and did, some market research over 6 months, and had to really, the company that I had, the app that I had was a big company, and I just had to come back and see where they went wrong. And the translation part was perfect. So what they did was perfect in the translation. It was the speech recognition part at the start where the issue was. So if the input of the speech wasn't correct, the rest of it snowballs, and that's where you got the wrong communication or wrong translation on the end. So with the artificial intelligence,
I guess, wise, right? That may have been.
Yeah, 100% accents. You got background noise. You've got nuances, dialects. If the internet connection is not strong, you've got if I'm mumbling. So many variables where the artificial intelligence comes in, helps us train in different nuances and dialects in a rapid manner. But also, you got noise cancellation that's run off AI, so it cuts the background noise out. So it really hones in on the voice and the words that have been spoken, so you get an effective translation on the other side.
So I really want to ask the benefits, like how can this benefit people? But I want to hold off on that just for a second and get kind of into technicals. And I don't want to destroy anybody's interest over here who's not a techie or anything like that. But I'm kind of interested in the geeky, kind of nerdy kind of way. How did you start developing this and using AI? Like that must have been a relatively long process. And were you just like, say the words, I, and like different things? Like, how did you get to where it understood kind of the context that you were talking in, maybe different access or the different ways. How did that happen?
A lot of training and perseverance. And trust me, with your listeners that aren't techie, believe it or not, that techie. So they're gonna. I'll make it really simple. That's I guess why people like listening. But what we've got a tremendous development team. So they've been with me for 10 years. I've known them for 10 years, and it's about challenging the status quo. So what we did was we had so we work with IBM Watson and its artificial intelligence. So what we've done is we created our own algorithms on the front to really enhance the pre-processing and post-processing of it all. So punctuation, grammar, contextual understanding. So literal translation is easy in the sense, but it's where the art and the artificial intelligence really kicks in, and the training is the contextual understanding, because you've got different words. You've got, as an example, steal. So steal could be, I'm going to the shop to steal a loaf of bread. And you've got to train it in that sense. And then you've got to train it, okay, I'm building a car trailer out of steel.
Yeah.
And it's got to spell it right. And then that on the other side is how it's contextually understands. Another one is flour. You've got a flour that's in your garden, or you've got flour that's you bake a cake with. So there's all those training sides of it. So there is a lot that goes into it, and it's not just something where it, again, from coming from the trade side, you think tech, okay, I've built this solution, it's ready to go, I'm going to sell it forever. But that's not the case. You've got to continually train it and continually, feed the information into it to improve it and stay ahead of the curve in our sense. And I guess that's where we're different from others is we can train it in contextual understanding in industry specific. So an airline has industry specific terminology that's the general system wouldn't know. So we go in, we give it to, say, airlines. They use it for 6 weeks. Generally, in most sense, the algorithms and the AI understands and starts teaching itself. But then there is certain words where we've got to come in and train it. They give us the data. We train it to learn that word and what it actually means, so it contextually translates it on the other side.
So is it English to how many languages can it translate to?
So we've got 29 in voice. We've got 80 in text.
Okay. So is it English to another language, or what about the other language into English?
No, it's any language. It's in any language set. So you can have Arabic to Spanish. You can have English to Spanish. You can have Spanish to German. It doesn't matter the language set. That's how we build it. So it's not always going back to English. It translates between different languages. So we didn't want that to be, because then if we just had English to Spanish, it's really limiting our scope of work and the customers that we can, like the enterprises we can help. And also not everyone that, travels the world on our consumer-based products is English speaking, So we made it so it's vice versa. So it can be any language set to any language set.
That's smart. So can you give me some of the benefits, some of the examples of what people can use this for now? Like, can we pop it onto a website? Can we speak into a phone if we get, if someone steals our passport to a Chinese policeman?
Yeah. So well, that's the first thing that we did. So I didn't want anyone else in that situation. So we have our consumer-based products and we have our enterprise. So we pivoted 18 months ago to really focus on the enterprise side of it. And that was, obviously pre-COVID, pre-everything that's going on in the world now. And how people can integrate it is, if you've got you don't have to be a large enterprise. You can be small, medium, large, doesn't matter. We've got pricing structure that suits everyone. It's a SaaS-based model. So you can integrate it into your website. We have it available so if you've got a virtual assistant, virtual assistants, you train in one language and you spend a lot of money in training it. We've got an application that plugs into the front and back of it so you can communicate in all languages. So you spend your money and time training it on the questions, the answers that you want your virtual assistant to understand. We do the translation and contextual understanding, so it goes back to the virtual assistant and it understands. Wow. We've just launched a product with Zoom. So on Zoom Chat, it's like their Slack channel where you can translate in 80 languages through Zoom Chat. So that launched a couple of weeks ago. So
Do you have translation from English to Tagalog?
I'd have to check on that. You've stumped me on that one. We've got 80 languages.
Yeah, from the Philippines. I mean, all of our distant assistants are located in the Philippines. It'd be interesting to utilize the service for that reason. It'd be kind of interesting to see, because we do our Zoom meetings all the time.
Yeah. So bloody hell, you stumped me on that one. Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, no, I'll give you that one. Yeah. Jamie 1, Danny 0. I'll give you that one. With Zoom. So you got, so it's not just on the Zoom chat. I'm sorry, like on the Zoom conference. We're working on that now. So it's, simultaneous translations on the video calls. But on your, you don't have to be on Zoom on a video call. You have, you download it on your iPhone, or you've got it, or your device, or your laptop, and you can communicate just via chat. It's the same as like a WhatsApp or a WeChat side of it. But they have the ability now to be able to translate, so you can communicate offline with someone in the Philippines or anywhere around the world at any time. So that's a pretty cool feature that launched a couple of weeks ago. Got some pretty good website.
Is there a way to install it on say a WordPress website, like a plugin or something, and then you click it and people can say maybe a menu drops? How does that work?
100% exactly how you just said. It's available on WordPress right now. So it's against a SaaS-based model where it's, everything that we have, you can trial out for free. Then, the more you use it, you can base your plans off that. So it's exactly the way you said. You go on the WordPress, it's a plugin. You install it onto your back end, and then you have the drop-down menu of on the back end, you can choose which languages you want to translate. Then you can, of course, you have this language, then you obviously submit it, and then it comes up and you choose on the screen where you have the languages. So in that aspect, we also do live chat. So, you have your live chat side. So we're working with a company out of Poland on that now. So that should be available hopefully in the next couple of weeks to a month, where you're talking to a real live person, but we translate in between. So it feels like you're typing in Spanish, they're typing in English, but you feel like you're having a conversation in Spanish. They don't know that the other person's typing a different language. So we're in between, it's in real time. And the reason around this is, and a lot around the enterprise side, is customer engagement is a big thing that enterprises were losing on.
Oh, it's huge.
We'll use the website as an example. How many websites have you gone on that have 9, 10 languages available on there? You click on it, it comes up in Indonesian. You read Indonesian, then you go, okay, I've got a question. You go to a live chat. The person doesn't understand Indonesian; they only understand English. So what's the point of translating your website if you can't communicate in real time with your customers? That's where the live chat side of it. So everything that we do is customer engaged, and the reason for that is we're dealing with a lot of airlines, hotels, and retail customers where they were, for 10, 15 years, they were just letting the customers go, they weren't treating them poorly, they just couldn't communicate with them. So, the customer acquisition cost, 10 years ago was a lot lower than what it is now, especially during COVID. Sure. So for the sake of, $90 a month, they implement the live chat or the website, whatever they choose, onto their website, and they can communicate freely with their customers. So it gives the customer the satisfaction and feel that they're wanted. And that's the whole experience. Coming back to, the China side of me, I just feel, anyone that's been stuck overseas and can't communicate, you're lost. You are literally lost.
Or anywhere, Yeah. So what's the name of the WordPress plugin?
It's called Lingmo Translate.
Lingmo Translate.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool, because that's something I think a lot of people would be interested in learning more about the plugin there. So many people are on WordPress anyways. And because you mentioned, you touched on this earlier, but I want to bring back, because with technology, the globe is incredibly smaller now. The talent force is incredibly enhanced in my world. And that means there's more people from different parts of the world speaking different languages. And how awesome would it be to be able to communicate back and forth? One of the biggest challenges or hurdles we have from many of our prospects is, well, if they're from the Philippines, do they speak English? Well, yeah, they actually have a higher proficiency score per capita in the Philippines than they do in the United States, which is crazy. However, there's some of those nuances that are different. And so they may say something in English from the Philippines and it comes across to, say, somebody in America a little bit different, a little bit, kind of out of not something we would say. And over time, that relationship gets better and the communication gets better. How do you deal with nuances within the AI?
So that's where that's where the AI really kicks in, and training the nuances and dialects. That was a big thing about when we first started. Was we used to want to have literal translation. It had to be contextual on the other side, because exactly what you said. When I was dealing with China, you can understand what they're saying, but by the end of the day, you're really straining yourself to comprehend and put it into context on our side when you're talking to them. And generally, I used to have big headaches when I finished there, because I'm sitting there thinking, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of not what I guess the best example is live interpreters. If you have a live interpreter out of a real person that doesn't understand the concept of what you're trying to say, it could be interpreted completely different. So that's the mentality that we worked on. And I'll give you an example with that. I was told a story of, there was a business discussion going on between two companies, and they had a live interpreter in between. And this guy said there was something not quite right, and the message wasn't getting across. And so he went up to the interpreter and said, and it was obviously in tech, and she goes, "Do you know what they're talking about? Do you know what they mean about in the cloud?" And she goes, "Of course, I'm not stupid. They're talking about the rain clouds." And then the penny dropped, and you just go, "Well, no, it's actually not the rain cloud. It's the cloud for technology." And then as soon as that was clarified, 5 minutes later, everything was done, instead of 2 hours of wasting time because the interpreter didn't get it. So that's really the mindset of training the artificial intelligence in a certain way. And again, it's challenging the status quo. It's everything that we've built Lingmo off is doing that and thinking outside the box. Because if you don't think outside the box, you're never really going to get ahead. And that's exactly what we're doing with contextual understanding side of it. And there is a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And just the other day, my wife and I were eating at a Mexican restaurant, and I said, "Dame un plato para llevar," which is, can I get a plate to go? And it actually literally translates, can I please get a plate for to go? Like, if I could literally translate that into English, that's what it would mean. But that's not what it means in Spanish,
Spanish, yeah.
So those nuances, I could only imagine how challenging that would be, not only for one language, but for 29.
Yeah. So it's 29 in voice, but then you've still got, the voice and the nuances, you've got your dialects and stuff that come in the voice, but you've still got, with text translation, you've still got the same, there's not so much dialects. It's more the contextual side of what someone types.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to China because that's where, it's good examples for me to give. But, instead of saying have a good day, they say good day to you. And, if you just type that, it comes out completely different in English. So that's, and each language has its own. And then you add the slang into it. That's the other thing. You got like Australia, g'day mate. You type g'day mate into something, it's going to go, what the hell are you talking about in Spanish? Like, it's pretty much going to say. So we've trained it to learn, slang and nuance. Well, obviously in Australia
or in Ireland, top of the morning.
Yeah, well, that's
Well, or you could be talking to somebody in Mexico versus Spain, and they'll say a totally different word, but it means the exact same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Same with Portuguese. You got Brazilian Portuguese, and then you got Portuguese.
Oh yeah, right. And I don't even know how many different dialects there are in the Philippines, but oftentimes in the Philippines, I've been told that they insert English words into their conversations because they don't know, otherwise the different dialects wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
it's the
crazy.
same in China again. You know, I remember, I'll never forget. I hired back before obviously Lingmo. We hired an interpreter in Shanghai, and they flew to Beijing for us and with us to interpret. And we got there and we're having a conversation. I'm going, okay, what are you saying? I have no idea. I go, you are kidding, aren't you? You just flew all the way from Shanghai with us, and you could have told me back in Shanghai that you didn't have a clue. So yeah, and I guess, you know, also with what we do is, it's again coming back to interpreters. It's not about taking jobs away from them. Artificial intelligence, it's about enhancing them, because, you know, if you listen to you know, I was watching CNBC the other day when the Japanese president was, or Japanese prime minister resigned, and they had live interpreters, because I was speaking Japanese. They had live interpreters there, and every probably couple of minutes they had to swap because it was getting so intense for doing it. So what we do is we will enable them to be able to possibly read off a screen as well as listen. So it's not taking jobs away from people; it's enhancing their capabilities that they already have.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. So I would love to put this on the website. I think it would be a lot of fun, you know, being able, we have the chat bot on there that, by the way, the technology is not really great yet, but we're trying to figure it out as we go. But it would be so cool if we could, you know, make life easier for people that don't use English as a native language. And they could just ask away. I think it would just be fantastic. Or by the click of a button, it automatically changes our website to, you know, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, because one thing, you know, and we deal here with Australia, you know, the companies that, you know, that we're speaking to, they say, well, we don't need translation, we're an Australian company. And there was one the other day, which I know him quite well, and I was going, dude, you do realise that 17% of the population in Australia don't speak English. You know, just, you know, we're in Australia, yes, but everything's so diverse now, and globalization. You know, people, especially with COVID, you got to, you know, export, import, and there is the communication of some point, whether it's just in Australia. You know, you could be in Sydney, and again, it's diverse. There's people who don't speak English or read English, so you want to be able to. You don't want to discriminate. You want to be able to enhance your business to, or enhance your products to make your customer feel welcome and wanted.
Exactly. Absolutely can't agree more. So where is someone in their journey when they need to reach out to Danny May or reach out to Lingmo? Where is that person? Like, what is that? What would be the perfect candidate to say, hey, I need to check this out and get serious?
In general, if you, obviously advice and stuff like that, for me, if they want, you know, advice, you know, you come on LinkedIn and just ask, you know, friend me and ask questions. You know, it'll be generally starting, you know, you got starting out more so. If you're thinking about industry change, that's obviously I've done the industry change, and you know, the first thing you say to people, you got to work twice as hard as someone that's in that industry already, because you got to learn. In regards to our products that we do, you know, we do have our consumer ones, which people can go onto the App Store and download if they're traveling. Obviously, can't travel now, but when we are allowed to travel. But in the business side, we've really built the products for small, medium, large. You could be just starting out your company now. You go, I want to be a global company. I'm building a website. Go on to WordPress, download it. There's a free version of it. Then the more usage you get, then you can choose a plan that suits. Same with the Zoom. With Zoom, you know, if you're using Zoom every day to start communicating, and you want to start doing the chat, it's on their marketplace. You just type in Lingmo Translate into their marketplace, and we pop up, and then you can download it. You get 3 days free trial. Then it turns into $5 a month and unlimited use. You can use it as many times as you want for $5 a month, and type as many times in and it's not discriminating against any language. You can type in any language. So $5 a month.
So that's LinkedIn Translate.
No,
I mean
that's
LinkedIn
Zoom.
Marketplace.
Yeah.
Lingo.
Yeah. So if you go into Zoom, so this is the
Zoom.
Zoom.
I'm sorry.
Zoom. Yeah.
Right.
Zoom. If you go into Zoom and you just type in Zoom Marketplace,
Gotcha.
Like you go in, you're in that marketplace, you have the search bar, just type in Lingmo Translate and we'll pop up, and then easy, just download.
That is really cool.
So it's
really
everything
cool
that we've done. It's we don't want to discriminate, and it's not just for big companies. You know, starting out a business, we wanted to make it easy for everyone to use and also affordable. You know, we wanted, you know, someone that has a cafe that may want to, you know, they've got their website, they want to start driving, you know, online business for takeaways and stuff. You know, you have it in so you can translate the website. You can have it so you can have the live chat, or, you know, you do, you know, 50 business meetings a day, but you're really on Zoom and you want to start, you know, texting people or messaging them stuff in different languages. It's available on that.
Fantastic, man. How do people get a hold of you?
Best way, if you generally LinkedIn for me personally. If you have any questions about the products, jump on our website. We've got our live chat on there. If you know, if it's business hours, if we're not on there, then send us contact us, and we'll get straight back to you. As I said, everything, all the information, documentation on how everything works is on our website as well. So if you have problems, you download it, and there's any issues, we've got all the documentation on there. But then you can send us an email, ask us any questions that you have. That's, you know, even if you're just starting out and you go, well, what do you think would be the best way for us? What products were yours? You go, okay, you build something on WordPress, then you can put our WordPress plugin in. Then you can go into our live chat. We'll put you in contact with a live chat person. Then it's a plugin for that. So then that's your website built. Then if you decide to, once you get bigger or you're a bigger company and you have a virtual assistant or a chatbot, then you go, okay, well, this one's best suited for you. So just send us an email. You know, we don't want you, you know, we've got a lot of products on there, and it is tailored. And if we don't have a product on there, you can come to us. We have our APIs available, which are all trained. You know, again, we've trained it all. So you can build a solution off our APIs, and we just charge you a usage fee. Or if you want to pay for us, we can just use our software and build a solution for you, and away we go. So there's a few different ways we can do it. We just try to make it really easy going for, as I said, small, medium, large businesses. You don't even have to have, you know, a development team. You know, if you do and you want to build a solution, everything's there. If you don't, then let us know and we can start.
Just reach out. You've got 10 software developers been working with you for 10 years.
Yeah. So we're ready to go.
Oh man, that's so cool. Hey, Danny, thank you so much for jumping on board. I want to be respectful of your time. We're at the top of the half hour, or at the bottom of the half hour, I guess is how we would say that. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap today?
I guess it's just more, the last thing I'd probably wrap up on is it's not about lingo, it's more about personal journey of everyone. You know, the entrepreneurial side of it, you know, give something a go. The worst you're going to hear is no. And don't be afraid to try something different and challenge the status quo. That's what we've done at Lingmo. It's what we've done in the language translation solutions market. And, you know, we want people to really come to us and go, well, they're different because of the way that it's been created, and we love their product, and we only want to use their translation solution. So the last thing is don't be afraid to try something different.
I love it. And the other day, I feel so bad. I don't remember the name, but it was in a thread on a Facebook post. And this person, they were talking about rejection, and this person answered, he or she, I don't remember, but I wish I could give them credit because I thought it was genius. They said, rejection is protection. Yeah, I thought that was amazing, because that just wasn't the right time. It wasn't right for you at that time. Take it and move on, you know?
Yeah. And I guess, you know, to add to that is, you know, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because you're going to, you know, trust me, you get in uncomfortable positions where you go, I don't know, but you got to get comfortable in doing that, because being an entrepreneur, you're going to get that all the time. You're going to get rejection. You're going to get everything.
Yep. I was watching a little video the other day. Obviously, I spend a lot of time online. Watching a little video of a little girl, 5 years old, and Tony Hawk, a big-time skateboarder, was there rooting her on. She was going to drop into this massive
ramp. I've seen that. Yeah.
She just said, just commit, just get into this. And she did it, man. And I was like, wow, you know, that's what you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just go for it. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep, that's the journey.
No regrets, man. No regrets.
That's it. All lessons.
Well, Danny, thank you so much, man. This has been an
Thank you.
incredible conversation. I'm really stoked that you enlighten all of us. I really appreciate that. I'm wondering if you can hold on for just a couple seconds there.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problems.
Hold on one
Thank
second.
you.
I'll go ahead and wrap.
No worries.
Okay. This has been Jamie J live with Bottleneck. Jamie J with Danny May of Lingmo International. Go check it out. Lingmointernational.com. Danny's always on LinkedIn, so you can go to LinkedIn and search for Danny May if you want to connect with him there. Highly recommend checking it out. I'm actually going to go check this plugin out, Lingmo Translate. You have to remember, this is a global economy now. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to have people visiting you from all kinds, even in the same country, speaking a lot of different languages. Why add that? Why have extra barriers? If you can take a barrier away, such as a language barrier, oh my gosh, try it out. Can't recommend enough. Embrace technology. This is part, you may have heard my interview with Neil Sahota. This is one of the good AIs. This is there to support, enhance, and assist in your customer service. So highly recommend that. Thank you to Danny May for jumping in here and making this kind of easy for us. One thing I will leave you with today, remember, make your own ripple. We'll talk to you soon.